Hi, I'm going to show you how to make a really simple wrap recipe, and the reason I've picked this recipe is my twin boys did this in year 4 at their primary school, which is many years ago now, and one of my sons loved it so much we had to have it every week after that. So I'm very fond of this recipe. It's quite simple, but I'm going to show you how to design and make your own wrap. And what you'll need to get started, you'll need some wraps, you'll need some kind of protein. So I've chosen kidney beans and cheese. You'll need some kind of vegetables, and I've got some salad vegetables. I've got cucumber, pepper and tomato. And then you might want some kind of sauce, and I've got a jar of mayo and a bit of sweet chilli sauce. So we start by getting our wrap ready. Now, you can use them cold, straight out of the packet, but they're much better if you warm them slightly first because it makes them a bit more flexible. You can do that in a microwave for about 10 seconds, but I'm going to do mine on my hob, on a frying pan. So I'm just going to pop it in the frying pan and just leave it there for about, I don't know, about 10 seconds on each side. I don't want it to go crisp, I just want it to be warmed through, bring out the flavour and make it a bit floppy. And at the same time, I'm going to heat up my kidney beans. Again, you could use them without heating. They taste perfectly fine, but they're just a bit nicer if they're warm. So I'm going to spoon some of my kidney beans into my pan. Not very many, I don't even need a whole tin for this wrap. And I'm just going to heat them up a little bit in the liquid that they're in the tin. So I'm going to turn my tortilla wrap over, and that will be nearly ready. So then I'm going to start getting my vegetables ready. Ideally, you want a sharp knife, but obviously if you're using a sharp knife you need a grown-up with you to show you how to do it. You could chop cucumber with an ordinary eating knife. So what I'm going to do is just cut quite thick slices like that, cut them in half and cut them in quarters. So I've got some little bits of cucumber like that. So everyone could do that. Cut your cucumber in half and then cut it in quarters. So I've got some little bits of cucumber. With my pepper, I'm going to take a slice off the side. Can do that with a dinner knife. And then I'm going to cut it into strips. So I've cut it into long strips, and then I'm going to cut those into little bits, and we call those dice. So we're dicing our pepper. And if you're using a dinner knife, it's much easier to cut from the inside than from the outside. So I can easily dice that from the outside. The skin is the toughest bit, so if you put that on the outside, you can cut it from the inside. So I've got some diced cucumber and some diced pepper, and now I'm going to go for my tomato. Okay, so I'm going to cut my tomato in half. Now again, you can do it with a dinner knife, but it's not easy. That's just going through, you have to be really careful. But it's much easier from the inside. So cutting from the outside is hard because you've got to cut through the skin. Cutting from the inside is easy. So cut it in half again, and then cut those into half again. So I end up with diced tomato. My beans are now heated. So I would do this over the sink normally, but I can't do that on the video here. So I'm just going to strain them I would strain them into the sink. You could rinse them, but actually that liquid comes off. So you've just got a few beans, and I'm going to put those back in the pan. Be careful with the pan because it will be a bit hot. And then you can either mash them up with a fork, just pressing the fork down. In fact, that's doing it fine. You can mash that down with a fork. You could use a potato masher, and that's quicker, but it's also more washing up, so a fork probably makes sense. So then I've got some mashed beans, and then I just need my cheese. So you could buy this ready grated, just cheddar, which is probably the cheapest cheese there is, and it's got quite a nice flavour. We like quite strong, mature cheddar because it tastes stronger, but whatever you like. And then I'm going to grate mine on a grater. You could just chop it up small if you haven't got a grater, but it's nicer grated. So then I'm going to take my wrap, and I'm going to start by spreading some beans on. In the middle. I'm going to add some of my diced vegetables, a few bits of pepper, a few bits of cucumber, a couple of bits of tomato. I'm still keeping it in the middle. I don't want to get too near the edges. And then I'm going to cover it with some grated cheese. And then if I want, I could put some mayo on here, but I'm just going to put a little bit of sweet chilli because we quite like sweet chilli in this house. Just a drizzle over there. And now I'm going to show you how to wrap it up. So you're going to start by folding the top in and the bottom in like this, and then you're going to turn it round. Make sure the filling's kind of in the middle there, and then you're going to roll it up from this end like this. And then if you cut it in half, you've got a wrap that holds together. And me and Mr. Cox will have that for our lunch. I hope you enjoy having an experiment, and we can't wait to see what kind of sandwich or wrap you make and hear all about how you found it.